up, nerds and nerdettes, and we little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big John and G, the Two Gun Vixen presents Legendary Gaming. It's Monday already, and here we are. You know how much I love talking, so this is probably one of my favorite episodes to film during the entire week, because that's all I get to do here. But we do have a video every single day of the week. So please, if you enjoy board games, tabletop adventuring, then please come back, check out our videos. Hey, subscribe and hit that notify. So we're not really in the YouTube algorithm that much. So if you want to know when our videos are around, please hit that notify. But we drop every day, so you kind of know when to expect us. But now I want to talk about something unexpected. For me, anyway. Something that has become a thing over the last few years. Quite obviously, understandably, why? With technology. Technology, science! But it's something that I was putting off. I had delved into a little bit with one particular game, but not enough of the game happened to be played since we didn't have a lot of gaming because of COVID the last few years. So I moved on to other games, and now I've been reintroduced to this concept, and I want to tell you about some real interesting crit hit apps, as I like to call them, for board games. So come on, join me down the table and we'll talk about apps, technology, and board games. Now, I'm not talking about app versions of popular board or card games, no matter how great some of them are. Like the Droid Tower, which is a beautifully perfect app version of the game Dark Tower. Or the Sentinels of the Multiverse app, which is fantastic, amazing. I'm not talking about that kind of app for a board game. I'm talking about apps that enhance or literally need to be used to play the board game. Now, the first time I came across this, I started becoming part of this, and it was stunted after this for a while, was right behind me, here, with the Lord of the Rings, Journeys into Middle-earth. And I got the game, and I was hoping that there'd be a great chance for me, the 20-sided warriors, to delve into Tolkien's world, and it'd be run by the app, and it'd be a beautiful thing, it'd be smooth, and well, with COVID hitting and the pandemic, that really put a stop at the time just when I got the game. So my playing of it was limited. I got a few games under my belt, I did a couple of videos on it, but it became difficult for me to want to get into it by myself. So I kind of put the app stuff aside. And I figured, let's move on. But I couldn't move on for very long. Now, before I got completely hooked, there was another explosion that I still haven't taken the opportunity to take advantage of. Now, the next time this happened to me was with Star Wars here. Now, Imperial Assault had been one of my favorite games, and in my heart, it still is. I don't think there's a better game for really experiencing the feel in the game of being in Star Wars. And I say that because it in part is a miniature combat game, but that immerses you more than any card game has ever immersed me. And that's why it's always been one of my favorite games. But again, pandemic hit, years go by where I'm not privileged to have my buddies, my gaming group, my friends and family, my 20-sided warriors there with me to appreciate this. The app came out for it, similar, based on the same engine, so the same company as the Lord of the Rings one. Unfortunately, I haven't tried this app yet. I think I'm going to change that in the coming months, though. But then it got even worse for me. Yeah. Then these two happened. Now, hold on. So first with Hero Quest. Much like the Imperial Assault game, it's not needed. You don't have to run the app when playing Hero Quest. That's great. I love that. The option is there. It's not forced upon you. Cool. And thank you for giving me that option. As some of my regular viewers have noticed over the last few months, I haven't stopped playing this game with the app. So I've really learned to appreciate it. But this is on a slightly different level than with Return to Dark Tower. Yeah. So, as you can imagine, if you don't know me, haven't watched these videos before, a gentleman of my age who's been a nerd his whole life, yes, I was there at the beginning. I've been a huge fan of Dark Tower since the early 80s when I was a teen. And so when this came out, when this was announced, I knew for a fact that I was in for a penny, in for a pound. And I did. I got the whole shebang, as you can see. The Covenant came out, and I quickly also made sure to back that to get that in my hands. But what bothered me initially going in is this can only be played using the app. So going into this, I worried that if I wasn't happy with the way the app ran, or I had trouble dealing with it because I'm not the most tech-savvy individual in the world, that there was going to be a problem. The number one game in my entire life, or a re-envisioning of it, will be unplayable maybe to me. But I had to do it. I had to go in. I had to get it because it's Dark freaking Tower, man! And let me tell you, I'm not let down. I love the way the app runs things for this game. And the promises that have been made by the company of keeping this app going. Because you literally can't play the game without the app. So their promise is to keep the app going and to keep it strong. And if anything ever happens where they go belly up, the company folds, their promise that they're gonna make it open license so that it can continue to run, it can continue to live. I love this. But now I've been thinking to myself, I'm so enraptured by these apps. Now, another thing that helped me was last Christmas I finally got a tablet, a pad. So that really helped me because I do all my filming on my camera. So that was a big problem for me with getting into app games to begin with. Let me just throw that out there. Was I didn't think that I was going to be able to film and run the app. So getting that pad changed everything. This continued to change everything when I experienced how amazing the app ran with it. So now, getting back to what I was saying is, the wheels have been turning. I've been having some ideas. And I just want to throw some out at you, and I also want to hear your ideas. What didn't I think of? Or maybe what did I say that planted a seed with you that made you think of something? Yeah, I got a few ideas. The Dungeons & Dragons cooperative adventure system games. Man, I love them. They're some of my pride of my collection. They're some of the best Dungeons & Dragons board games that have been put out since the 3rd edition board game of Dungeons & Dragons Fantasy Adventure game. Easily. Now, these games run themselves. You don't need an AI, a computer, an app to do this for you. But still, I feel that if these games had an app-driven system, a helpful system to help run things and also to maybe beef things up a little bit, help keep track of the characters, as well as introduce some new things that are exclusive to the app. I really think, and add like sound effects and voices. That would be fantastic. It would immerse you even more into feeling like you are part of the world of Dungeons and Dragons. And besides, just keep coming out with new core boxes with new classes in them. But yeah, let's see an app for this. Let's see how that can improve this already amazing game system. Jaws. So this Ravensburger title, I love so much. One player playing the shark, and the other player, 2 players or 3 players, playing Chief Brody and Quint and Hooper, trying to stop Bruce, stop the shark from all the killing. It's a really fun game. Now, with the use of an app, if they introduce an app to this game, you can make it a one-player game then, as the app can take the role of either the shark or the three humans that are trying to hunt it. And I think that this would help explore the game even further with this one-player option. I know I'd be getting into the table and filming it a hell of a lot more if that was the case. I just feel like, interspersing the music in with the app as things are happening and some sound effects, I would just take this already great game and blow it out of the water. No and all pun intended at the same time. Now, there's a game that I love, the 20-Sided Warriors love. Oh, T-Bone's crazy about this game. We don't get it to the table enough. I admit that. Western Legends. This is my favorite and possibly, arguably, one of the best Old West, Wild West board games that have ever come out in the market. And the fact that it uses real-life characters, people, not made-up characters, as who you're playing, and you're able to play them as you wish. Maybe you want Doc Holliday to live out the life exactly the way you've been told his life is lived out. Or maybe you want to take Bloody Knife and do something completely different with him. Or maybe Annie Oakley wants to be like a mining for gold or something, or a rancher. You can do that. There are so many ways. It's such a sandbox, open world game system, and I love those on top of everything else. But this has no one-player option. Even the two-player option, which is really cool, very interesting, it has a third NPC player that is playing against you and the other player. There's no one-player option for this. It's been asked for. The creators have said that they just can't make it work. Yeah, you can. If you introduce an app. If Western Legends had an app, then it would be able to simulate either a 3-player game or a 2-player game with the Man in Black NPC. And a lot more people would be playing this game a lot more often. You would see that. That would be one of the titles that you would see regularly on this channel if I had a way of doing that. It's such an amazing, fun game. I've never walked away from that game and felt like it was a waste of my time. No, I've always walked away from that game wanting more time for it. So please, we need an app. Give us the app and we'll be able to play one player. We'll be able to get this game to the table more often. I don't know. Maybe Marvel Champions? Maybe Marvel Champions, the card game? I don't know how or why. I would just like to see an app for that. I think out of everything I've mentioned so far, that's the least in need of an app option. But I still would like to see one for it. Oh, hear the Marvel music playing. Oh, it'd be amazing. It'd be great. But I don't know, other than adding music, what else an app for that game would do. But I've been thinking about this a lot, and so many great so many non-one-player games, can be rediscovered by individuals as one-player games if more of these titles and more of these companies had more app-driven applications. More app-driven applications in order to play these games. The way Hero Quest does a Return to Dark Tower. And, moving forward, the way technology is going on, we're already at this point. I don't see why it's simply not happening more often. Is it just a question of money and development? Maybe. But if that's not it, then I truly don't understand why more companies, especially games that would be the only way to give a one-player option to, why aren't they doing this? Please do this. If anyone that makes games out there hears this, please take this into consideration. Putting that one-player option on a game, even if it's strictly through an app, is going to make your game get played more often. And more individuals like me that film their games will get your game on camera. So what do you think? What games that you play that you think would really benefit if they had an app to it? What games do you play that aren't one-player optional that if they had an app would become one-player optional? What's on your list? I want to know. Because if it's a good game, I'm probably going to agree with you. And I know that's really a matter of perspective if it's a good game. Actually, Universally, that doesn't even make sense. But you understand what I'm saying. All right, so there you go. Those are my thoughts on apps and board games, where we're at, and what I want to see down the pipe. Thank you for joining me. I'm your buddy Big John G. The Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming, and I am out of here. And getting a drink.